When making our way through Stormveil Castle, we can meet a number of NPCs. We start out speaking with Gatekeeper Gostok, who gives us advice on how best to approach the castle. This interaction is soon followed by meeting Roger, who is prepared to help you as best he can by teaching you the magics he has available. Finally, we meet Nepheli Loux, who shares in our purpose of defeating Godric and is prepared to join the fight should you have her. This character is introduced by telling her most recent enemy that they were a fine warrior, and she hopes the winds take them to a higher place. She's a warrior who believes in respecting those she does battle with and recognizing their strength after their defeat. The best way to describe Nepheli is honorable, and today, we're going to take a look at her journey through the Lands Between, as well as the implications of her connection to the first Elden Lord, Godfrey, or as he was known before he took the throne, Loux. Before diving into Nepheli's story, we wanted to take a second to ask you to hit that subscribe button. We have so much fun creating these Elden Lore videos, and the larger our audience grows, the more exciting it is to hear your feedback on our work. By subscribing to Square Table Gaming, you're helping our channel out with YouTube's algorithm, which helps us reach a wider audience. Thank you for all of your support, and don't forget to hit the bell so you never miss out on our content. Now back to Nepheli Loux. Your first time meeting Nepheli, you may not catch the significance of her surname if you're not paying attention. She carries the name Loux, meaning she has a direct connection to an Elden Lord, Godfrey, or as he was once known, Loux. While they share the same surname, it's likely that Nepheli is not directly related to Godfrey, but rather belonged to his tribe of Tarnished. While all Tarnished can trace their lineage back to this tribe, Nepheli is much closer than any other we meet, given that she was still within the original tribe before coming to the Lands Between. It's likely she followed the call of grace out of the Badlands themselves in order to find her way to the Lands Between. And much like the other Tarnished we meet, in time, she lost the ability to see grace. It was then Gideon Ofnir saw the potential of Nepheli. Though she was a mere axe-wielding barbarian, her youthful credulity served his purposes, so he took her in as his daughter. As the daughter of Sir Gideon Ofnir the All-Knowing, Nepheli fought to see her father take the throne of Elden Lord. He told her that should he take the throne, he would never allow the downtrodden to be cheated again. He presented himself to her as a noble man who would make the ideal king for the Lands Between. When we see Nepheli in the Round Table Hold, she believes her adoptive father can help us in our quest.
Yes. I wonder if you've met my foster father. He's in his study. The room Entra's guarding just over there. If you haven't already, I advise you introduce yourself. Father is leader of the Round Table. I'm sure talking to him will be worth your while.
She inherently trusts that her father has the best of intentions when it comes to helping the Tarnished complete their purpose. But after seeing more of the world, doubt starts to set in. We next meet Nepheli Loux in the Albanoric Village. She's surrounded by the suffering of the people who called this place home, and she feels a sense of righteous purpose being here. When we speak to her, she says,
It's you. Well, what do you make of it? What's happened to this village? I witnessed a sight much the same in my infancy. The oppression of the weak. Murder and pillage unchecked. A waking nightmare made by men. But this time, I'm a woman grown, and though the suffering cannot be undone, I can still mete out justice. Justice to the oppressors. Let the scars I carve remind them. I am Nepheli Loux, warrior.
This exchange tells us a lot about who Nepheli is. She sees herself as a warrior for those who cannot fight for themselves, and if she's too late to protect those being oppressed, she will make sure to avenge them. With that said, this also tells us a little about the Badlands Nepheli comes from. The world outside of the Lands Between is mostly a mystery, but clearly the Badlands is not a place you want to find yourself. It sounds as though the oppression of the weak, murder, and pillage unchecked are a way of life in the Badlands. Clearly, if the rumors of the first Elden Ring DLC are true, we have our work cut out for us should we visit this place ourselves. In the Albanoric Village, we can summon Nepheli to help us defeat the Omen Killer surrounded by the corpses of the village residents. While this helps her claim vengeance for those who had their village destroyed, it does put her at odds with her father, Gideon. Nepheli had no idea that her father ordered the destruction of the Albanoric Village in order to get his hands on a Haligtree medallion piece, and upon interfering with his work, he decided he no longer needed Nepheli in his employ.
You know already, do you? Right. It's true. My father cast me out for indulging my emotions, forgetting the mission, punishment for offing his pawns. Lord Gideon has offered me guidance all my life. I would have done anything for him, to place him on the throne of Elden Lore. And yet though it was not my intent, I betrayed him. And I can no longer trust in Father. To think he'd order his men to enact such tragedy. Where is the justice he purports in that? He once told me that if he became Elden Lore, he would never allow the downtrodden to be cheated ever again. Was he simply lying to me? No. How could I say that? Father has always given me his guidance. And now, I've lost it.
Nepheli is completely lost without the guidance of Gideon. However, there is something we can do to remind her of the warrior she once was, long before she came to the Lands Between. If we return to the Chapel of Anticipation, where our journey began, we'll find that a door that was previously locked is now open, and we can make our way to a spirit ash known as the Stormhawk King, which is described as ashes of a hawk revered by all others as sovereign back in the days when Stormveil's winds still raged like no other. This ancient monarch is proud, however, refusing to answer anyone's summons. Those who paid attention during the battle with Godric or the Omen Killer may notice that Nepheli wields the Stormhawk Axe, which is a battle axe designed to resemble a hawk with its wings comprising the blade, signature weapon of warriors who strive to remain one with the storm, despite being so far from their place of birth. Their hearts are proud, and thereby easily undone. We can see the connection to Nepheli here. Her proud heart was undone by the betrayal of her foster father, but more importantly, it seems she's a warrior of the storm, and when it says these warriors are far from their place of birth, it's fair to assume that means the warriors of the storm originated from Stormveil Castle. Given Nepheli's surname Loux, this may mean that all Tarnish can trace their roots back to Stormveil. We can give Nepheli the Stormhawk King's spirit ashes, and they seem to break her of her despair.
I'm not like Roderica. I don't feel the presence of spirits, let alone see them. Still, this ash, it reminds me of my first hawk. Thank you.
After this, Nepheli disappears from the Round Table Hold, and we can only meet her again if we make our way back to Stormveil Castle. Upon returning to Godric's throne, we can see Nepheli standing tall, and if we've completed Gostock and Kenneth Height's quests as well, they stand on either side of her. Upon speaking with Kenneth, he tells us,
Nice to see you after so long. Safe and sound, I take it, yes? Good. Quite. I have indeed selected a new ruler. Lady Nepheli is strong and just, worthy of the burden of Limgrave's lineage. Such is the sincere opinion of I, Kenneth Height, no less.
So Kenneth believes Nepheli has what it takes to lead Stormveil Castle and return it to its former glory, which was lost long ago. Upon speaking with Nepheli, she fills us in on how she found herself here.
It's been some time. I must thank you for your aid. I told Father I would be with him no longer. I remembered the vow I took when I first became a warrior, so many moons ago. This land is much like the one from which I hail. I will call upon the storm to drive away the foulness that has settled on the winds. Again, I am Nepheli Loux, warrior. Some call me by the title of Lady, but I remain the same woman underneath, though I have now abandoned my former guidance. I cannot express how much you've helped me. Should you become Elden Lord, I would gladly lighten your burden. Farewell, fellow warrior. I will remain to summon the storm, but your guidance and your fight surely lie elsewhere.
Nepheli has found her place as the new Lord of the Storm, and while she no longer fights to elevate someone else to the throne of Elden Lord, she is prepared to help us lead the lands between from her new station once we complete our quest. While this is where Nepheli's quest ends, there is another possible outcome. Much like Gideon, Seluvis sees the strength of this storm warrior and wants to take it for himself. During her hour of despair, we can give Nepheli Seluvis's potion, and she will eventually become one of his puppets. We can even take this puppet for ourselves and use Nepheli as a summon for the rest of our quest. We think this speaks to her strength. Two of the biggest schemers in the lands between saw a potential for great power in Nepheli Loux, and wanted to control her either through manipulation or enslavement. The funny thing is, by helping Nepheli reclaim her purpose in defending the weak, she ultimately takes her rightful place in Stormveil Castle, and pledges herself to our rule as Elden Lord. It turns out if you want to utilize the strength of this warrior, the best way to do it is by being a lord worthy of her fealty. Who knew? We hope you enjoyed this look at Nepheli Loux. While there isn't too much to theorize on when it comes to this character, we believe her connection to the Storm and Hoarah make her story worth following. There's definitely more to be discovered when it comes to how exactly Hoarah tribe of Tarnished are connected to Stormveil Castle, but maybe we'll find out in the new DLC. Leave us a comment with your thoughts on this warrior of the Badlands. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss out on our content. We look forward to seeing you again for more Elden Lore.